Again, it's a beauty of integrated work, integration with the team members, with respect, they treat each other, they share things, being transparent. These are all few qualities that we can have. But most beautiful thing that I like to arrive at, and I assure you that everyone can feel peace at home. One can be at total calmness. They all can enjoy this poise, uh, even under the toughest time that you can go through. It is easier to stiff up our neck and say, "Oh, wow, I did this." It's a pride moment, and people often become proud. That is sometimes detrimental. Similarly, under such situations, we can get depressed, we can get stressed, we become anxious. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen to my children, my grandchildren, my colleagues, my boss, my company? It is natural to think like that. But to continue thinking like that when I don't have a solution, why should I make it my problem? Only thing I can do is I should not become the problem in this equation. That's the most defensive lifestyle we can have, and be at peace. We will talk more about how to arrive at peace as we go along. What do you think, Dr. Adizes? Are we on the right track? I lost your voice. Huh? Are you able to hear?
Yes, we are on the right track. We are on the right track, and I'm so happy to be with you and to see you. Here is how I look at what's happening, which should guide what we are going to do to overcome the crisis, and which is going to also guide us into understand maybe what's coming after the crisis. Everything in this world is a system. We as a human being are a system. A company is a system, a family is a system, a country is a system. The earth, the globe is a system. By definition, systems are composed of subsystems. So you have the nervous subsystem, you have the skeleton subsystem. For a human being in a company, you have marketing subsystem, sales subsystem, accounting subsystem, etc. Same thing for a country, you have the social, you have the economic, you have the physiological. Whenever there is change, the subsystems do not change at the same speed. Some change faster than others. That creates gaps. Those gaps are called problems. All problems that the company might have, that the country might have, that the person might have, comes from disintegration. That's why when we are worried about somebody, we say, this guy is falling apart. This family is falling apart. This country is falling apart. Disintegration is a source of all problems. If that is true, what is the solution? Integration. That's why the word to heal and the word to make a whole are interrelated. Psychologists will say oneness or illness, being one. That's why what you say, Daaji, being at peace, that's where we meet. You see that? When you're at peace, you're together, you're whole. You're not falling apart. Isn't it interesting? I was listening to you yesterday when you say that, and that's a fact, that more men got sick from the coronavirus than women. Why is that? Women have it together. You know, there is a joke which I think makes the point.
It's so true.
You know, there is a joke about it. A fly is flying around in the room, and one guy to the other, it must be a female. He says, why? It landed on the telephone. It landed on the telephone. They're all the time on the telephone. They're all the time talking. They're all the time relating. They're always together. We men are too busy, We're building the world and destroying the world. They are together more than we are. They know how to put it together. Their job in life, their role in life for thousands of years is to make a house, a home, to put a family together. We are out there fighting the world. So they, you see, die less. They're sick less because they're together more than we are. Why are the old people dying and those that are with preconditions dying? Because they're disintegrated. When you get old, part of our body, which means part of the subsystems, have different lifespan. So some start already not functioning. So what's happening? You're disintegrating. The more older you are, the more like a car. Why an old car falls apart? Because not all the parts have the same lifespan. Some have a shorter span, some have a longer span. It disintegrates. The car is disintegrating. The person is disintegrating. So what is the solution in this time? Now, what is a coronavirus? For me, it's a stress test. Like they give a stress test to banks to see whether they will survive a financial crisis. This is a stress test. Who is going to survive? The one that have it together. Who is going to disappear? The one that have cracks in their system that are going to become like a Grand Canyon because of the stress. This is a new Darwinian analysis of what's happening. The weak will disappear and the strong will become stronger. Is it not interesting? I was talking to Elizabeth from Cana, from where you are. How many people do you have sick in Cana? 0. How come? Because you have it together. Who is going to perish are the ones that are not integrated, and this is a stress test. A stress test for the company, a stress test for the family, a stress test for the person. Why do we need to sleep? Why one of the prescriptions for this crisis is eat healthy, sleep, and rest. Why? Because when you sleep, you reintegrate. Try not to sleep for 2 weeks and see what happens. You commit suicide. Eating the right food, not to offend your body. Sleep, rest, and meditate. Why meditate? Not to escape the crisis, so I go away and I disengage. No. Meditation is integration. Bring yourself together. Be at peace. The more at peace we are, that's why I agree with you, Kamesh, the better you will survive this crisis. The same thing for your company. Some of the questions here are, what should I do? Sales are going down. I don't want to fire my people, but what should I do? The driving force of all your answers to all your questions should be, is it increasing disintegration or decreasing disintegration? So don't fire, because if you fire, you're increasing disintegration. What should you do? Everybody takes a salary cut, including you, the owner. You should take the most to show an example. Everybody should suffer. Now what happens? It increases integration. Oh my God, we are together. We are going to suffer together. You see the togetherness. What should you do? Don't lock yourself. This question, the physical distances. Physical distances don't exist when you love. When you love, you feel the person even if it's 10,000 miles away. You should have meetings of your company weekly, top management on Zoom, to discuss how can we keep the company together from falling apart. What should we do to improve the company? What should we do to make the company stronger so when the crisis is over, we come stronger than when we went into the crisis? This is your opportunity. It's not a threat. This is an opportunity. It's like God is saying, how strong are you? It's up to you what's going to happen in this crisis. You are being tested. We are being tested. Will the divorces go up? I believe so, for weak marriages. In a weak marriages, being locked into one place for a long time, they're going to start fighting. The marriage is over. The family falls apart. They will never get back together. It's a stress test. But if you use this time to strengthen the integration of the family, to put yourself together, what can we do to be a better family? What problems do we have to overcome so we love each other even more? How can we meditate together? What's happening? You come bigger love after the stress. It was an opportunity. God is saying to you, what do you want to be? Do you want to die or do you want to live? Up to you. And what is the answer? Love. That's why I love heartfulness meditation, because it focuses on love. Love is the strongest uniting force. What is the strongest rock in the world? Diamond. Why? Because it's the most integrated, the strongest together. That's why it is a symbol of love. Because when there is love, we are one. Your pain is my pain. My happiness is your happiness. So focusing on the heart, focusing on love is a solution to this problem. Who is going to survive this crisis? The more love, the more you will survive. The more hate, the faster you will disappear. End of the story.
Wonderful, doctor. Wonderful. I love that.
You would like to pick up a question, Daaji, and then you answer your question and I will react to it. And then I will pick up a question. I will react to it. So we have some questions. Which question would you like to answer?
Well, there one question that any quick stress or anxiety relief measures, how to, I'm a believer of how to prevent it in the first place. I'm a believer of vaccination. Before the problem comes, I must be able to identify that I'm getting into it and I better solve it. Now, today's problem, especially we are talking about, is this coronavirus. How to prevent it. And if I have a successful methodology of preventing me from getting that virus, from preventing my family from getting this virus, and when I deploy successful methods, defensive methods, then I will be lesser at stress. I remain vulnerable in the absence of such security measures that I take, especially mentally. Once I have taken mentally certain, what should I say, resolved approach in preventing this virus, I will be more at peace. How do I prevent myself from getting this? First of all, I must isolate myself or quarantine myself. Second, if I go outside and if I have to go outside, if I must go outside, I better wear a mask. Before putting on the mask, I got to have few drops of oil put in my nose. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but some mustard oil or coconut oil or sesame oil or olive oil drops will suffice. So when you put 2-3 drops in each nostril, it will help capture those before they settle on the nasal passages. Third thing I recommend that once you come back from your outside trip or visit, what you should do is watch a video on nail med application, how they clean the nose with warm saline water. Sometimes they use hypertonic saline solution to use this. I don't know if I can demonstrate this to you, but I will share a link with you so that you can visit this. And what really, this is all about cleaning the nose by pouring warm water from this side and taking it out from this side, and then pushing it from this side and taking it out from this side. This cleans the nasal passages. Now, why I'm recommending this? Cleaning nasal passages is very important during these times, especially when we are faced by such a deadly virus. Once the virus is removed, there is no way it is going to get hooked up with those receptors. There is no way that it will go to the lungs. because you have already removed it from the nasal passages. So that is one way of protecting ourselves. Another thing that you should do is now and then, as the president of Belarusia had suggested, those who are, it's not a joke, but I find a lot of wisdom in it. He said, drink vodka, a little bit of vodka, and go have some sauna also. Because this sauna and vodka somehow does some trick on us. Because most medical physicians or healthcare givers, they recommend vaporizing, your throat and nose when you have cold. But when you go to a sauna, the whole thing is, you're circulating the whole system with this higher temperatures, and steam is there, which will dislodge any viruses from your throat or nasal passages. So there is some wisdom behind all these things, and there are some herbs, herbal teas you keep drinking. If you can get Giloy, Giloy powder, or Giloy tea, or Tulsi tea, you can keep on drinking this every half hour or 1 hour, because they also have some ingredients which competes with virus for what they call ACE2 protein receptors. Now, what I'm talking about here? When virus gets into your nose, it looks for those receptors with which it hooks up. But certain chemicals or medicine which are there, before the virus hooks up, they hook up. So there is no space left for viruses to get hooked onto. So that's the logic behind this antiviral drugs. So I would recommend few of these techniques I have shared with you. Once the stress or anxiety kicks in, I would say it's a bit slightly, I know it is justifiable, but it can be prevented also. I would recommend that when you're so much stressed, breathe deeply, about 5-6 times, and especially after breathing deeply 5-6 times, you close your right nostril with your right thumb, and then inhale and exhale from the left nostril. And have your focus also towards your heart while you're doing this. Do this about 5 times or 10 times. It will calm you down tremendously to remove your stress in a big way. I will also show you certain methodology, or you can visit my site and how to get rid of these stresses. I'm not able to showcase all the methods we have been practicing through Heartfulness Way, but they're all proven techniques. You can try it and see how it can help you and your families and friends. You can download all these things for free. There are no charges under Heartfulness practices. So, what do you say, doctor?
Yeah, great.
What are
I will do that. I will do that. This idea about
left nostril breathing?
that's right. Very simple. Very good. Okay.
There is
I'll do
also
that.
a logic behind it. See why we do that, because there's a big science behind it also. You can, I don't know if you permit me, I can discuss all that. You see, when the left nostril, we are breathing through left nostril, somehow the right brain gets activated. It calms us down actually.
It's the left hand, the right brain. My approach to that, which is not physiological, is the following thing: is anxiety, panic. Where is it coming from? From my managerial outlook, it comes from uncertainty. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, and I lost control because I don't know what's going to happen. Because there is uncertainty, I get panicky. So now what do we do with that? So I said to attack the cause of the problem, which is uncertainty. Increase the certainty. How can I increase uncertainty? I don't know what's going to happen. Well, yes, you can. Here it is. I said, when you're in the middle of the night, you wake up and you're in a panic and anxiety and you cannot sleep, get up. take a piece of paper, take a pen, write down all the things that are worrying you. Everything, everything possible, including you did not do your laundry today. Everything. Because when you have a finite list, all at once says, okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. I have a finite list of what worries me. That reduces already the panic already because you have a finite list. Unless you say, oh my God, it is so big, it increases my panic. Well, here is how you handle that. I will start maybe with a joke because people don't remember my lectures, but nobody forgets my jokes. The guy says, I have a wonderful marriage. Really? How did you do that? Well, I decide all the important questions, and my wife decides all the simple questions. So we divided, the authority, and now we have peace in family. Good. I decide if the Americans should get out of Afghanistan. I decide if United Europe should be together or not. She decides where we live, where the kids go to school, what do we eat, what we do. That's very simple. Obviously, it's not deciding anything. You have to take that list and ask the question, what is under your control? What is not under your control, it's a fact. You cannot control the rain. The rain is not your problem. Your problem is you don't have an umbrella. Rewrite your problems so they are controllable. If they are not controllable, they're not your problem. Like when I do consulting, they tell me unpredictable interest rate. I say it's not your problem because it belongs, to the government, to the central bank. That's their problem, not yours. Your problem is you don't have a strategy to deal with uncontrollable, unpredictable interest rates. That's your problem. So rewrite your problem so it's controllable. Otherwise, you're worrying about something you have no control over. So what's the big deal? That's why you're in panic. In panic is uncertainty and lack of control. Increase the certainty, identify all the problems you're worrying about, and rewrite it so you are in control. And now what you have to do is have too many things under control. Okay, pick up the ones that are the most painful that you want to remove. Focus, because you cannot solve all of them. One at a time. One at a time. And then what happens? Now you have a plan of action. Panic and anxiety comes from lack of plan of action, from uncertainty. Now you are a victim. Oh, I'm a victim. I don't know what to do. The world is falling apart. You're not a victim. Take control of your life and you're going to find out that it's a challenge. It's a challenge to see how strong you are. If you are weak, you will disappear. Darwinian theory. You have to take control of your life. And how? Too many problems. Pick up the one that you are in control. Start working one on one. Now, you can solve more problems if you work together. Many of the problems you will have on your list, you cannot control yourself. But if the family gets together, you can. If the community gets together, we can. If the country gets together, we can. Depending if you are the leader of the country to put the country together. The biggest problem with leaders of many countries is that in time of crisis, they increase the crisis by making people fight each other. No, the solution is integration. Again, integration. And how do you do that? Which of the problems we can solve together? So my issue now is not to solve the problem. My issue is how to get us together to solve the problem. Because you have to allocate your time and your energy. So that's how I look at anxiety. Anxiety exists when you play a victim. If you don't play a victim, if you take control of your life, anxiety disappears.
Fully agree with you, Dr. Adizes. The teamwork.
The teamwork,
Once I was watching National Geography, and they were attacking, the predators.
Yeah.
How hyenas, they gang up together, and they can even finish a lion. How a group of wolves, pack of wolves, they can group together and destroy the enemies. And same thing what happened, with the Spartans, the Greek old time, how they used to protect the kings. As half a dozen Spartans could destroy thousands of people. It's a known example. So I think Spartans, wolves, hyenas, they teach us
And,
something.
and
Even
they go into
hyenas,
the Wild West, Daaji, you know, when the settlers went to the Wild West and the Indians will attack them, they will make a circle and together defend themselves. Alone, you cannot defend yourself. Together, you can defend yourself. That's the whole trick.
no, so we have to cooperate with this, especially
Yeah.
the topic of today, that how this corona can be won over. I think we remain united, protect each other, isolate ourselves as best as we can, use
What
some
you
of
want?
those techniques which our WHO or your local government shares now and then. And of course, the one question that I have seen, which is very pertinent, is under stressful situation, I cannot even think properly, let alone think of meditation. But I assure you, you watch one of my master classes. There are three master classes. One is on how to meditate, how to regulate my thoughts, how to go deeper within myself and find that infinite peace within myself. You'll be surprised that you will have to tolerate this peace and accept this peace because so much abundance is there. You'll be wondering, there's so much of wealth and a treasure of these unknown qualities which are hidden within us. You can tap into it. And for that, meditation is required. And that's my masterclass number one. Masterclass number two is how to remove all these prejudices I have, preconceptions I have, the habits which are not so good to me and of which I'm not so proud of also. And I like to get rid of them. Second masterclass is all about these prejudices, weaknesses, getting rid of all these things. And the third one is all about how do I connect through prayer with my maker, with my source. With what sort of attitudes, what sort of words may I address my maker? Uh, with what sort of attitude must I have during this half an hour or 20 minutes of connecting with God? So these three master classes will, I am sure, I'm very confident that anyone openly approaches this, means open heart, you'll be witnessing that something profound, some big shift can happen in your consciousness because of these three master classes. And I would say out of thousands of people who have meditated in this way, hardly anyone have found that, no, this is not good. I never found even one person to say it has not been good.
Sure.
They may not practice regularly, that's okay. But they will all say it has been wonderful, lifetime's experience. So I highly recommend that please experience this. This isolation. I think we can make use of this isolation in a better way by going within, going in inner, venturing into our inner world, and finally interiorize the ultimate deity that dwells within us.
Yeah, no, Daji, my experience, apropos what you're saying, is very often when I meditate, I go into meditation that I had a problem. Not necessarily correlated, but let's say I'm struggling with a certain problem and I don't know what to do, and my mind says we should do this, but on the other hand, that, but if I do that, then this, and I'm going back and forth, and I don't know what to do. And I go to meditation. Strangely enough, when the meditation is over, I have the answer. Interestingly. In the meditation, I find an answer to something I've been struggling with my head. I think the head and the heart are, kind of like competing. In the brain, you go back and forth and back. The reason why I think the problem with the head finding the solution often is because What is in our head is not just us. Inputs that our parents put in, what we should do. Inputs what our spouses told us we should do. Input what our colleagues at work told us we should do. Input what the television told us we should do. Input what, you know what, our head is full with voices. It's not our voice, it's not me. It is all kind of voices. I believe it's me, but it's not me. It's other people. And now I'm confused. What should I do? No, what I do, what do I really want to do? When you go into meditation, you find yourself. It's you. In meditation, it is you. It's nobody else but you. You with God. And you get the voice. You get the answer. Because really the heart knows. That's what it's so interesting. That's why I'm so excited. You know, I tried, Daaji, I tried probably 10 other meditations. I
Really?
focused on, I did. I
What
tried
did you
with a
do?
mantra. I tried mantra, you know, was
Okay.
involved with it. Then I tried, you know, with a candle, and then I tried to focus here. Then I tried to put my palette in the top of my mouth and to focus on my tongue. I mean, oh my God, nothing worked. Until, thanks to Sunil, I discovered this heartfulness, and really the Saj mark, and to focus on the heart. And the heart knows the answer. Because this is really you. That's why you're at peace. That's when you find an answer in meditation, you're at peace. Because it's the true you. The brain is not true you. I saw once a tag on a car, what is it called, you know? Don't believe what you think, which is true. Don't believe what you think. We think that I am because I think. Wrong. I am above what I think. Observe what you think. You are above what you think. You are not what you think. What you think is a combination of all kinds of sanskaras, all kinds of influences from the past. You don't even know where it comes from. That's what you're so confused. But when you focus on the card, you find yourself. And that's very important. And that's what I think is so important once a day, twice a day. Try to find yourself because we get lost in this world. The more developed the country is, the more people go to psychotherapy, analysis, life coaches, you name it, everything. Why? Because they're confused. The world is giving you so much information, so many influences that you don't know. When you look at the developing country, the people are more together. They smile more. I hear more laughter in a developing country, I hear more laughter in a developing country in one day than I hear in a whole year in a developed country. In America, people don't laugh enough. Go to a developing country, they're laughing all the time. What's going on? There is less stress, there is less influences, there is less voices in your head, there is less confusion, you're more together. And the answer for us is through meditation is to find ourselves together in a developed country. We cannot now become underdeveloped, we cannot go back, but we can go forward. Going forward means find yourself in the big noise in which you live through meditation. And the right meditation is through the heart because the heart gives you integration that the other meditations do not give us.
Yeah. I have one question, Dr. Adizes. One of our viewers, she's asking this question: how do you protect your energy and inner self from this collective fear? So I have experimented this so many times and experienced it myself also, that when you are in a company of, for example, as a student, many of us getting ready to give exam, when we had our college games, sports, and all of us are stressed, how do we protect ourselves? And the whole world is worried about certain aspects of our life. How do I protect myself? I'm worried, I'm worried, my parents are worried, the whole community is worried about something. So this is very relevant question, how to protect ourselves from the energy that is generated from this level of thinking and feelings that everyone is going through. So I recommend this cleaning process, which is masterclass number 2. It will help you get rid of it. And once you are out of that meditation, that means having completed that session, and when you arrive at that, crystal clear vision within yourself, you can make a firm suggestion to yourself that yes, this peaceful environment which is created within me will also last. And this peaceful environment which I am carrying is also being shared with all my family members. You can also imagine that you can sit down actually in the comfort of your bedroom or in your living room or wherever you are. Just sit comfortably and go deep within yourself and imagine that very loving moment that you had. It's only so that your heart becomes bubbling with love. But condition is go as deep as possible, and then allow it to ooze out and think that person who, for example, your mother or your daughter or your loved ones are receiving this love from your heart. So you not only will be able to remove your personal fear, but you will also be able to help others. While you are doing this, you need not tell your loved ones that you are doing this. You just witness this, what happens to them over a period of time. Their anxiety level, their stress level will also go away with this small exercise. Another question that is being posed is what must be the thoughts that healthcare and other professionals in the forefront should have in this scary environment. I I think they are too busy even to think about thoughts. They are running around like plucked, chicken head. They have no time to think. They're doing their best, and we should pray for them that they find some solace, they find some rest during their working hours, and where they serve everyone with wisdom. And our prayer should constantly be that they should find rest and enough of, uh, I would say, a boost in their immunity as well, so that they don't get affected.
My struggle, and I think we're almost finished. We have 1 minute, so maybe I should finish this 1 minute. The biggest struggle I'm having, Daaji, and that's what I look to you for guidance as my guide. I find out hate destroys. Look at people that hate, they look old. They lose their energy. Hate makes you lose energy. All you need is 10 minutes of hate and you are exhausted. Love gives you energy. Love makes you young. Look at people that are in love. They look young. Look at people that hate. They look old. So my struggle is how to minimize rejection, rejecting people, rejecting things, which is the beginning of hate. I don't hate, but I reject a lot. I get angry a lot. How do I minimize that? And I think that my guideline is, can you love what you hate? And by doing that, if somebody gives me a hard time, I say, well, it's not my problem. The guy is going through his own problem. So why don't I have some empathy and and support him rather than reject him? It's not my problem. It's his problem. He's loading on me. I'm not in the picture. I'm not in the picture. And this is a big challenge because I forget that. From time to time, I forget that. If you have cancer, can you love your cancer? It's part of you. It's not somebody else. Part of your body is suffering. So rejecting it is not the answer. It's, accepting it. Living with things you don't like because they're part of life. That is my struggle, and I hope that will help. So let's get together next week again, same time, same place. and we continue. I really
Yes.
thank you, Daji, for being with me. I'm honored to be with you. And by the way, my book, How to Manage in Time of Crisis, which is going to be broadcast now going to be shown on a slide, is also free on an ebook for free. Anybody can download it. Please benefit from it. And I have other books, but at your choice. All the best, and let's get together next week. Thank you, Daji. All the best, and my love to everybody at Kana. Everybody at Kana.
I will. I
Thank
will.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Jai
Thank you
Baba.
very much, Daaji. Thank you very much, Dr. Adizes. And for all the viewers, please hold on and look at the screen for some important links from where you can get some free resources uh, which will help tide over these crises somewhat. So please stay back for that. And thank you very much, Daji. Thank you very much, Dr. Adizes. We will join back again next Friday, same time. And please look forward for the same link and see you next week. Thank you. Good night.
Baba.
Good
Good
morning.
night.